The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time now, light your fires for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 28 deadline stream. Hope you are all doing well. I'll be taking you through until 6:30 UK time. I've got 2 free transfers, and I don't know what I'm going to end up with. I really don't. I already missed Game Week 27, where it was just an unbelievably easy roll. I still think I could roll this team as well, but I don't think I'm going to. And I'm going to buy Wilson or Dango, I think, for Anderson. But I'm also tempted to do a double move. But I can't really sell Enzo and Anderson and keep Rice when he blanks in 31. But I don't really want to sell Rice this week. I think Wilson is better than Dango for the next 4 weeks, so I prefer Wilson. But Dango Utara keeps the option open of not wildcarding in 32. But then I probably end up wildcarding in 32 anyway. So does it really matter? I don't know. I don't know. Would I sell Verts for a hit? Don't know about that. Depends who your option on the bench is, I suppose. Yokere's opinions. I mean, you could keep him if you got him, but I don't think I'd be buying him right now, to be honest. Save transfer till 31 for the blank instead of using a chip or go aggressive. I don't think using a chip in 31 is probably going to be that good, to be honest. 2 minutes late, Kino would be gone. Nightmare. Play Raya or Petrovic. I'm going to check the clean sheet. Do you know, I'm tempted to say Petrovic. But Arsenal defence is just so much better than Bournemouth. What do the clean sheet odds say? Arsenal 37% and Petrovic 35%. It's very close. I think I'd play Petrovic over Raya. Not very often I'd play a goalkeeper over Raya, but this week I think I would. Is Verts out for a while? We don't know. Slot actually said he just doesn't. He said, honestly, I don't know. Say you weren't wildcarding in 32, who would you target? Probably Brentford, I think. Or, I mean, even Szoboszlai, maybe, because he's probably going to play in midfield now, and he's got a good fixture in 32 as well. I don't know. Szoboszlai, Wilson, Dango, Sharda. Lots of options. Should I take a -4 to get Wilson in? Probably not. Leftover Chelsea players, I have to play João Pedro or Palmer. I would definitely play Palmer. Who would be your 5 defenders on wildcard? I'm not sure really. I've not thought that much about wildcard. Presumably, Joachim Anderson, James Hill, and Van Dijk would be 3 of them. Do I start Mainu or Ballard? Mainu, I guess. Oh, no, do you know what? Yeah, probably Ballard, I think. I heard you speak about Brentford a lot this week, but should we really double up on Brentford attack? I don't know. Do you need 2 Brentford attackers? I mean, if your team's looking good, then no. I mean, I could roll this team and just go with Thiago, but I think Dango is fine, or Sharda's probably okay. Would you play Timber over Gay? Yeah, I think so. Just about. 2 free transfers, very nice. Yeah, I would play Timber over Gay. Timber or Hill, start one, bench the other. Oh, this is annoying. I've just said I'd play Petrovic over Raya, but I think I would play Timber over Hill. Just continue to back that Arsenal defence. Maybe that doesn't make too much sense, but yeah, I think so. Which one to start? Stack, Garner, Richards. Hang on, the way. Stack. Who's Stack got? Oh, City, of course. Honestly, I'm tempted to say Stack, but it's a home, right? Richards away to Man United, not great. Garner. I'm going to say Stack, but it's just gut feeling, I think. Timber to Hill or roll. I'd probably roll. Currently have Gabriel, Van Dijk, Hill starting with Gay, Timber on the bench. Would you swap either for Hill? No. Yeah, sorry, Timber, I think. That's a pretty damn good team. 5 free transfers. Timber, Palmer, Enzo, Mane, Krupi out for Van Dijk, Elliot Anderson. Gango. Oh, Dango. Ekatike, Thiago in. Seems quite nice. 5 transfers is a lot, though. I'd be tempted to hold a couple, but overall, I think it's quite nice. Yeah. Nico Williams is a punt for Mukiele. We'll get Anderson. He plays Man City, though, soon, right? And it's an away game this week, so no, I don't think so. Yeah, I would just go Hill. Timber to Van Dijk or Bowen to Thiago? I go Bowen to Thiago first, I think. Play 2 out of Wilson, Raul Jimenez, Rice, Palmer. Currently benching Rice and Palmer. Oof. I think I'd have to play Palmer if I had him, so I'd bench Wilson and Rice, I think. Start Tarkowski or Gay. Start 2, Rice, Wilson and Hull. I'd probably bench Lewis Hall just about. Would you start Anderson, Joachim over Timber? No, I don't think so. Bowen versus Liverpool. Any chance of getting a return? I mean, there's always a chance, right? But it's not a great fixture. I mean, there's a reason lots of people are bringing in Van Dijk this week. What's the priority sell? Rice with a bad fixture and a blank, or Wirtz with an injury? I mean, it's not that bad of a fixture for Rice, I guess, because it'd be good for Defcons, right? The Wirtz one's really tricky because I don't know how long he's out for. It's really difficult to know, right? If he only misses 2 game weeks and you've got a good bench, then you could keep him. But I would probably be leaning towards selling Wirtz over a player that's fit. Play Collins, Enzo, or Lefay and roll to 4 free transfer. Do Enzo to Dango. Don't love the Dango. Well, don't do a move you don't love. That's just not great. I got to be honest though, having to play one of Enzo, Lefay. I mean Lefay's okay. With 4 free transfers, I would be tempted to make a move. Do Enzo to someone else. I think 4 free transfers is a lot to have to play one of those 3. Transferring Elliot Anderson or Wilson. Wilson, 3 free transfers. Rice to Mberma or just Bruno G to Dango or both. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do both. You don't have to do the Rice move, but yeah. Is Dango nailed? I don't know if I would say nailed, but I'm pretty confident in his starts coming up, I would say. Wanted to roll, got 2 free transfers, but Chalobah to Van Dijk now. I mean, yeah, Chalobah to Van Dijk seems like a pretty good upgrade. The graphic is stuck. Is that the one at the... Wait, which graphic now? The one at the bottom right? Or... I don't know which graphic you mean, to be honest. 3 free transfers. Chalobah to Van Dijk, Enzo to Dango. Unfortunately, got Verts last game week. Plan was to get Wilson game week 28 for Rodgers. Would you do it now? Or Szoboszlai an option? Szoboszlai is an option. I think I just about prefer Wilson, but they're both good. And yeah, selling Verts if you got the transfer looks good. Timber to Van Dijk, Enzo Anderson to Dango / Wilson. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Again, like, I don't know where I'm going to end up. My gut feeling is I will end up on Anderson to Wilson. I mean, you could sell Enzo instead. I'm not really sure what to make of Anderson. Like, he could start getting subbed a little bit earlier, but I mean, is that likely? I don't know. Played 90 it last night. 2 free transfers. Using them to get Enzo and Verts out too risky if it leaves me with the exact number of transfers to get 11 out of 31. Yeah, maybe a little. Like, if you've got someone you can just bench Enzo for, that sounds kind of okay, I think. Best Verts and Enzo replacement. 3 free transfers, taking a -4 to do João Pedro and Krupi to Ekatike and Thiago. In Burmo, probably, and one of Wilson, Dango, Szoboszlai. Bench one of Wilson, Dango, Rice. Rice. Start Cash or Anderson. Is Cash a bench and risk? Don't think so, but I would start Anderson either way. Royce or Henderson in goal this week. Man United away and Bournemouth away. Probably Royce, I think. Rice to Szoboszlai or Mane to Thiago. Mane to Thiago. Timber to Van Dijk and Enzo to Wilson. Timber to Van Dijk and Enzo to Wilson or Dango or Szoboszlai. Yeah, again, flip a coin. Like, my favourite of those 3 is just going to change throughout the stream. I think for the next 4 game weeks, my favourite is Wilson. I'll say that. Bench Rodgers or Wilson. Rodgers probably. Would you prioritise moving Timber or Tarkowski to Van Dijk? That's such a tough one because, I mean, Timber's better this week, but Tarkowski's got Burnley next week, so probably Timber, just about. Yeah, I'm gonna say Dango. I think my current ranking is probably Wilson, Dango, Szoboszlai, Sharda, probably. I got Bruno, Rodgers, Wilson, and Rice. Can't decide who to leave out for Dango. Probably Rodgers. Should I bench boost with Dango, Dubravka, Krupi, and Alderete on the bench? I don't hate that bench boost, although I don't think Dango's on your bench realistically. I think it's Rodgers, but it's still pretty good. 1 free transfer, Rice to Sharda or Chalobah to Van Dijk. Chalobah to Van Dijk. I have Enzo and Rice. Would taking a -4 to get Wilson in Burma, Brentford midfielder? Worried my game weeks might be a dud. No, I wouldn't take a -4 to sell Rice. Just sell Enzo. 3 free transfers, João Pedro to Thiago. Minte to Wilson. Would you roll the last one and play Strand Larson or get an Enzo replacement? I think you can probably roll for a bit more flexibility next week and beyond. It's like, it's kind of an either or. I don't hate making the 3rd transfer. Like, I'm pretty sure most people would just roll in 29 unless there's a big injury that happens on the weekend. So you could use the last one, but I'd be tempted to roll it, I guess. I mean, I might use both of mine. Krupi over Munoz. Did Timber to Van Dijk and João Pedro to Thiago. Very nice. Yeah, I'd probably play Krupi this week. Do you think it could be worth selling Enzo over Verts if you can play 4-4-2 until 31 and cope with Verts on the bench? I mean, in theory, yes, as long as Verts is back for 31, but we don't know that for sure. That's the only problem. He probably will be. Feels unlikely he'd be out until 31, but we don't know for sure, you know? And, like, is Verts against Brighton away miles better than Enzo versus Everton away? I mean, he's probably better, but I don't know if it's worth taking that risk. Do you agree with benching Timber, Gabriel, Senesi, Hall? I would probably play Timber over Hall, personally. But if you don't want to, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't sit here and argue with you about it or anything like that. Am I concerned about Iwobi impacting Wilson's returns? I don't think so. I mean, could Iwobi get some more returns instead of Wilson? Probably, but I don't think it would massively worry me. I don't think. Enzo to Dango for a -4, just play Dewsbury Hall. Probably just play Dewsbury Hall. Play 2 from Dallo, Hill, and Sarr. Sarr and Hill, I think. What's my dream rank? Number 1 would be nice. Rice dropping in price tonight. Of course he is. Of course he is. I don't even know if I lose money on him. Probably not. Yeah, I don't lose any money on that. You put Cash way down on the benching list versus Senesi. I'm just curious as to why. Senesi's got a better fixture and he's good for Defcons. Basically. Cash is no good. I mean, Cash has got attacking threat, but he's got a worse fixture. And generally, Defcons are a little bit more reliable than attacking threat. Do I get Wilson and Dango or Wilson and Szoboszlai? Great question. Yeah. My preference is probably Wilson and Dango, but Szoboszlai is also pretty good. So I should have like a massive banner on the screen saying, I don't know who to buy from Dango, Wilson, Szoboszlai. Is Konate a massively better pick than Van Dijk? No, he's a worse pick. Sell Mukiele to Hill and Timber to Van Dijk. Sounds good. Haaland captain or Bruno against a weak Palace. I'm currently on Haaland, but that's a good reminder that I don't know if that's going to stick. I've spent so much. I mean, to be honest, I've spent a lot of time today just playing games. Yeah, so and like thinking about my transfers, I've not really thought too much about captaincy. A little bit, I guess. I'm currently on Haaland, but I don't know if I like it. I don't dislike it. I just don't know whether to go for Fernandes instead. Because you're right, Palace not playing great in the moment, but I still don't. I don't look at Crystal Palace as like an easy fixture. But Lacroix's not guaranteed to start. Yeah, I'm on Haaland, but it might change. What's going to make me change it? I don't know. The fact that it's going to be 6.29, and I'm going to want to go different with the differential with the captain. I mean, Bruno is definitely the differential choice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm on Haaland for now. I have 2 free transfers. I'm not going to be. Honestly, I'm not going to be very helpful in this stream. I just save you money, save your time, go and watch someone else. I feel like I'm going to be useless. I have 2 free transfers. I need a Burt's replacement. My midfield is Bruno, Semenyo, Mbeumo, Dango. Also a Chalobah replacement. I already have Van Dijk. Okay, who are you looking at though? Who are you thinking about bringing in? I mean, Szoboszlai, Wilson. Probably like 2 of the top ones people will be looking at for that team. Chalobah replacement. Why do you need a Chalobah replacement? Can you not just play Van Dijk, Gabriel, Van Heck? But yeah, probably Hill or Anderson. Who would you bench out of Rice, Timber, Anderson? Probably Anderson. Mukiele for Hill. Sounds good, yeah. Hill's a pretty good option to bring in. Need help. 1 free transfer. Enzo to Dango or João Pedro to Thiago. Probably João Pedro to Thiago for me. Versus Szoboszlai long term like the fixtures. Szoboszlai's a good pick. Yep. And there's a better chance he plays in midfield over the next couple. Not a guarantee, but a better chance. Need 1 defender and 2 midfielders. Who, in your opinion, are the top options for a dead end into 31? Van Dijk probably, yeah. Oh, sorry, you've put, yeah. Van Dijk, Wilson, and Dango. Probably yes. That's probably who I would have said. Mbeumo maybe instead of Dango. Szoboszlai or Wilson for Enzo. I'm going to say Wilson, but I might change my mind later. I already have Dango. I can start Anderson and roll, but I would like to be more aggressive. Yeah, Wilson, I think. Who to sell for Thiago, João Pedro or Krupi? I mean, I guess if it doesn't affect anything else in terms of future moves because of the money, I would sell Krupi. But that locks up a lot more cash, so depends what your other moves are in the next few weeks. Why is everyone putting in Jai miles ahead of Cash, even though Cash has a fixture like Wolves away, which is much easier than Newcastle away? I mean, it is a better fixture, yeah, but Njai's an attacker. I think Cash probably concedes, and Njai's on penalties as well. Marco, 22 months. Doing Enzo to Mbeumo, which feels like the obvious move to make. Also, Bruno captain is at home against Palace, who played midweek and leads them in good recently. Yeah, again, I don't really disagree. Like, Bruno's a great pick this week. Ahmad or Enzo for Dango. Need to keep 1 for 31. I would probably sell Ahmad. At least with Enzo, you know the minutes are good. Now, Ahmad's minutes will probably continue to be okay, but he did get subbed early last game. 1 free transfer. Enzo to Dango, Wilson, or Timber to Van Dijk. I'd probably rather sell Enzo first, I think. But I'd rather have this week Wilson and Timber than Enzo and Van Dijk. Best Verts replacement got Bruno and Mbeumo. Saboslo, Wilson, or Dango probably. By the way, I don't think Sharda's a bad pick. I just think the benching last week is going to put me off buying him. Timber to Van Dijk or Evan Nielsen to Thiago. Timber to Van Dijk or Evan... Timber to Van Dijk or Evan Nielsen to Thiago. Or neither. Interesting. I think I'd do Timber to Van Dijk first. I think I'd rather have Van Dijk and Evan Nielsen this week than... Oh, no. Actually, do you know what? I don't think that's true. Selling Evan Nielsen before Sunderland. I know he's been super frustrating, but that just feels horrible. Yeah, I think Timber to Van Dijk just about. By the way, neither is fine. If you're not sure, yeah, I think Rolling's okay. But Timber to Van Dijk's probably quite a nice move in general. Stephen, 94 months. Which move do you prefer? Rice and Enzo to Dango and Mberma, or Rice and Krupi to Dango and Thiago? Yeah, I'd probably get Thiago, I think. I like Mberma, but I'd rather have Thiago. Bench, Calvert-Lewin or Enzo? I think Enzo. Rice and Obi to Dewsbury Hall and Thiago. It's okay. Dewsbury Hall's got Burnley next week, so he's not terrible. Stack's probably a better longer-term pick, depending on how long-term you're thinking. But yeah, Dewsbury Hall's got Burnley next week, so he's okay. Player back 5, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Timber, Dallo, Hill, and bench Enzo, or sell Enzo to Dango and bench one of them. I mean, if you've got... Yeah, so I'd probably bench Dallo out of those. That's a pretty good back 5, honestly. Again, like you could go either way. That's rollable for me, but selling Enzo is also fine. Like, it's just a weird week, right? There's people out there selling Enzo, and it makes so much sense for their team. Whereas I'm probably just going to hold him. Yeah, I suspect I would probably do it and bench Dallo, but it's completely rollable, honestly. I have Van Dijk and Senesi playing in my defence, looking to offload Chalobah. I have three free transfers: Chalobah to Hill or Konate. Well, that's a good question. I'd probably go Hill, I think. Although it does... I'm not sure about that, you know. Doubling up on Bournemouth defence or doubling up on Liverpool defence? I feel like the answer should be Liverpool. I think Konate is better than Hill, as long as the money is not... Yeah, I think he is better, just about, as long as the money's not going to massively impact future moves. FPL United gifted 1 membership. Thank you very much. 3 free transfers: Enzo to Wilson and Rice to Dango. Yeah, pretty good moves. Again, I don't think Rice has to be sold this week, but I think it's fine if you want to play a bit more aggressive. Maybe I should do that, honestly. The thing is, selling the defensive contribution guys just feels bad because they're so consistent. Oh, I don't know what to do. I just want to roll because rolling's just always the easy option. Wait for something to happen. Got a nice feeling about Sharda. Yeah, last time I turned Sharda down, he got a hat trick, as I've said a few times this week. So I'm a little bit worried about not going there. Doing 3 transfers, but unsure on who to bring in. Alternative 1, Chow, Dango, and Burma. Alternative 2, Van Dijk, Dango, Wilson, Sharda. Yeah, I would go for the one with Van Dijk, I think. Yeah, you could go Dango and Wilson instead of Dango, Wilson, Sharda. Why do you prefer selling Anderson over Enzo? The thing is, I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do prefer that. Like, I think people are now treating Enzo as if he's this terrible pick. And I don't know if that's true. He's obviously no good this week. But I don't know if he's awful. And if Palmer, I don't know, if Palmer's to get like a slight problem, Enzo will be on penalties as well. But Anderson's so consistent with DEFCONs. But then is he going to get benched? Sorry, is he going to get subbed a little bit earlier in matches under Vitor Pereira? Maybe. That could impact his DEFCONs. Like, I think the thing to remember with Anderson, I know recently he's just been ridiculous in terms of his consistency. But there was a time this season where he wasn't picking up DEFCONs every single game at the start of the season, although he has averaged over 14 per start, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know if I will sell Anderson over Enzo, to be honest. Like, it's really annoying because I wish I just had a clear-cut answer for you. I just don't. Everything just feels like a super close call this week. Do I sell Anderson? Do I sell Enzo? It's probably pretty close. Could I sell Rice? Sure. Could I keep him? Absolutely. Do I go for Wilson? Yeah. Is Dango a better pick? Maybe. I don't know. Why not Szoboszlai? Great question. Why not Szoboszlai? He's also a really good pick. Like, it just all feels like super close calls. And the only thing that's going to make me make a decision is the deadline, basically. I honestly think I could talk about Anderson versus Enzo, who to sell, for a couple of hours and not come to a good conclusion, really. Like, Enzo still put up really good numbers this season. For most of this season, his minutes are great, but Anderson's the DEFCON king that's got a high floor and a low ceiling. I don't know. Could Anderson be on penalties? Maybe. Ahead of Gibbs White, potentially. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know so many times in this stream, because that's just the reality. This week is just ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It's super close. Dango or Van Dijk both have such good fixtures. Oh god, I mean, that's a tough question. I think in that case I'd probably play the attacker because he's playing Burnley, but again, flip a coin. Play Krupi and roll, or Dango for Enzo and bench Krupi. I'd be tempted to play Krupi, I think. Sunderland at home. Probably tempted just to bench Enzo and save a transfer. Have Wilson, Enzo, Mbeumo, Bruno, Rice, Thiago, Haaland, and João Pedro. Which one? João Pedro to Ekitike or Enzo to Dango to have Szoboszlai? I'm tempted to say Enzo in that case. Although... Oh, João Pedro's like killing me this week. Okay, would I rather... Okay, longer term, would I rather have... Let's just say it's Dango, right? Would I rather have Dango and João Pedro or Ekitike and Enzo? I think I'd rather have Ekitike and Enzo. Yeah. Van Dijk, Timber, Gabriel, O'Reilly, Anderson, or DWH. Is that Dewsbury Hall / Enzo bench? Wait, Van Dijk, Timber, Gabriel, O'Reilly / Anderson, or DWH / Enzo bench? Oh, is this question just basically who to play, Anderson or Dewsbury Hall? Have I deciphered that properly? In which case, probably Anderson. Give Rao another week or move to Thiago. It's not a bad fixture, you know. I think you can give him another week if you want. But he's going to get subbed early, though. No, do you know what? I go to Thiago if you got the spare transfer. I wouldn't do it for a hit, though. Sell Ekitike to fund Rodgers to Palmer or hold. What? No, come on. Ekitike's got West Ham at home. Palmer's got Arsenal away. Using 2 transfers to bring in a player for Arsenal away, that doesn't seem great. I sold Chalobah and Alderete to Chow and Van Dijk. Which one do you drop? Chow, Van Dijk, Gay, Timber, Gabriel. Probably Gay, just about. Enzo to Schade and Timber to Van Dijk. Yeah, I quite like both of those moves. Again, Schade maybe slight doubts because he got benched last week, but I'm pretty sure he'll just start. 2 free transfers. João Pedro to Thiago. Enzo to Dango. Timber to Van Dijk -4. Yeah, I just wouldn't take a -4. I would just not make one of those moves. Which one would I not make? Probably the Timber one. Palmer to Salah, Enzo to Dango, or plus Havertz to Thiago -4. Instead, play Krupi. I wouldn't take the -4, and I would just probably play Krupi, or do the Havertz to Thiago and not do like one of the other 2 moves, which also seems fine. Versus Szoboszlai for a hit. Mane's my 8th attacker. What about your defenders? You got a decent defender you could play? If not, then maybe I would take the hit in your case. Although Wolves got Villa at home, Mane will start. No, I wouldn't take the hit. I don't think. Timber to Alderete and Krupi to Thiago, or Timber to Van Dijk and Enzo to Dango. I would probably get Thiago, but I'm not sure I'd buy Alderete. I'd probably go for Hill instead. Dubravka or Sanchez this week. Don't want to take a hit. Dubravka. I own Dallo and Fernandes, so don't want to buy in Burma. I also own Wilson, so I need to replace Enzo. Any advice? My transfer plans are in the ticker at the bottom if you want to have a look. Probably Dango Utara. Done Palmer to Salah and Gabriel to Hill. Oh, Jesus, okay. I think you're not a big fan. Yeah, but I plan game week 29, Enzo to Wilson. Game week 30, Rice to Schade. Game week 31, Saliba to Van Dijk. Thoughts on the order, or should I do them or roll all to 31? I mean, the order's probably fine, yeah. Although, yeah, no, that order's probably fine. I mean, if you've got 2 free transfers in 30, you could just no, Saliba's got Everton at home. Yeah, it seems fine. Although if you get to game week 31 and you're dead ending, I'm not sure I would buy Van Dijk that late. I think I'd go for a different defender that week. It's got a better fixture. Like Van Dijk's good to buy now because of the next 3, but I don't think I'd buy him in 31 necessarily. But yeah, otherwise the plan seems good. Bench 1, Senesi, O'Reilly, Harry Wilson. Probably O'Reilly. Played Dubravka or Sanchez, Dubravka. 2 transfers. Plan was move off of Chalobah and João Pedro, but now Wirtz and Mukiele are injured. Should I replace injured or make... Yeah, you should replace the injured players first. Options to move out Palmer and Enzo. Imbermo, Fernandez, Wilson, Dango, Sharda, Szoboszlai. Take your pick. Cash, probably someone else I've forgotten. Gordon, I've seen people looking at. Cash, I probably wouldn't go there. Cash or Munoz for Van Dijk. Munoz, I think. Szoboszlai or Rayan for Rice. Szoboszlai. 3 free transfers. Chalobah to Van Dijk. And bench Enzo. Hold off on Wilson. You not just do both? Oh, but then you'd have to bench someone. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'd probably do Chalobah to Van Dijk first. Enzo to Dango, but I would have to bench Gay. You could roll, honestly. 1 free transfer to replace Munoz or roll Mukiele on the bench. Munoz to like Van Dijk would be good. It depends who you don't own, I suppose, and how much money you've got. Enzo doesn't look like he's going to get many points when Palmer plays. The thing is, like I've seen people say that, and I don't necessarily disagree, right? Enzo is a worse pick when Palmer's fit. But against Leeds and Wolves, Palmer played, right? And Enzo came quite close in both of those games to getting a return. So I agree he's worse, but I don't think he's awful. Wilson's 3 home fixtures, but worse data versus Dango Sharda 3 away with better data. Yeah, great question. I think my preference is Wilson, but yeah. Yeah, honestly, my advice is get your coins out and start flipping them. Would you get Van Dijk or Szoboszlai, sell Timber and Rice? Again, honestly, because my initial instinct is I'd rather have Szoboszlai and Timber, but I generally don't know if that's better than Van Dijk. I think there's other midfielders, so I'd buy Van Dijk first. I think it was one or the other. 3 free transfer thoughts: Timber to Hill, Enzo to Mbermo, Wilson to Szoboszlai. I wouldn't sell Wilson. You can do the first 2 moves, but I don't see the point in doing Wilson to Szoboszlai. Got Wirtz last week, now stuck on 1 free transfer. Help. I mean, what's the rest of your team? Do you have someone you can play instead and you can just bench him and roll? If not, just sell him. Would you rather double up with Szoboszlai and Ekitike and have minimal funds left in the bank, or with Thiago and Dango and spare funds? I'd rather have Thiago than Ekitike. Szoboszlai versus Dango Sharda, it's all pretty close. Start Dewsbury Hall or Joachim Anderson. Joachim Anderson, play Van der Ven or Enzo. Van der Ven, I suppose. Are you Team Dango or Wilson currently? We're checking an hour. I'm Team Wilson if I'm wildcard 32. Basically. And I think I am wildcard 32. But Dango leaves the option open. Because he's got a good fixture in 32 itself. Now, the follow-up question people always have is, what's going to happen to not wildcard 32? I don't really know. I think from talking to Praz, it would require like Brentford or Fulham getting to a semi-final of an FA Cup. How likely is that? I don't know, but it could happen. It's possible. Saliba and Cunha to Van Dijk and Semenyo. I personally wouldn't be buying Semenyo right now unless you're using a chip in 31, but he's okay for the next 3. Saliba to Van Dijk's good. How do you rate Thiago as a differential captain pick? He's probably my 4th favourite pick this week. So pretty high up in terms of differentials. Why Dango over Sharda? Just because Sharda got benched last week. He probably starts for what it's worth. If I had him, there's no way I would sell him. Can't figure out the timing of Rice to a differential midfielder. Now I can get 3 home fixtures in 4 after I lose all. I mean, you could always just like... if you got a similar decision to me, you could just do Rice next week when he's got an away game for Wilson and just do one of the other moves first. But then you've got, the thing is with 29, you've got no more information apart from injury stuff. After 29, you've got the FA Cup 5th round results. Is that hashtag United Seb? It is the one and only. Do you think toys will ever appear in cereal again? Oh man, what a great time that was. Probably not. I assume there's a reason they've stopped doing that. Probably because kids have just got phones. Hall and Rice to Van Dijk and Dango for free or roll? Probably roll. Rice to Dango is fine, but Hall's pretty good this week, I think. Game week 31, do I lose 0.5 in team value by selling one of my 4 players or play with 10 men? I would get 11 players out. For someone who has already used a wildcard, does going Szoboszlai make more sense since the chance of a double game week 33 is high? Yes. And also, he's just a really solid pick in terms of minutes, which is kind of good if you've already used your wildcard. I'd be way more is probably not the right phrase, but I'm more confident in Szoboszlai's minutes than like Wilson, Dango's. Dango and Wilson are probably absolutely fine for starts and minutes, but I don't think anyone could be as sure as they could be with Szoboszlai. Bench 2, Timber, Gay, Rice, Rogers, Sharda. Probably Gay and yeah, probably the 2 defenders, I think. Should I start Krupi or Rice? Krupi, I think. Is Konate a good option if you can't get to Van Dijk? Yes. Yes, he is. Is he better than like a Hill? I don't know about that, especially when you factor in the money. So do you need the money? If you do, or if you think you might, go for Hill. Or Joachim Anderson. 2 free transfers, Richards to Konate and Enzo to Dango Wilson. Yeah, it's pretty good use of transfers, honestly. Downgrade Bowen, Salah free, Rao, Jimenez, Calvert-Lewin, Evanilson. Oh, so one of them to bring in. I wouldn't buy Evanilson right now, I don't think. Rao Jimenez is not bad for the dead end, but he is going to start getting subbed earlier. I would go Calvert-Lewin, I think, but it's not ideal to bring him in this week. Enzo or Sarr to buy Szoboszlai. I think Sarr just because he's blanking. Triple Liverpool, sounds okay. Play Konza / Rice, keep missing out on Konza returns. I'd play Rice, Szoboszlai or Sharda. Szoboszlai for the guaranteed minutes, I think. Yeah. Sharda's going to start though. Honestly, not buying Sharda is just super cautious for probably no good reason. Bench Gay to sell Enzo and buy Sharda. Again, you can go either way. Like it's probably a luxury move to buy someone to bench Gay, but it's absolutely fine to do that. Like we're not far off wildcarding, although you can roll transfers through freaking wildcards these days. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to go aggressive. Collins apparently going to be in the starting 11. If he is starting, should I play him or Krupi? Probably Krupi. Who says that he's going to be in the starting 11? Thoughts on Van der Ven to O'Reilly doing free hit 31? I mean, sure, if you're definitely free hit 31. Should I sell Chow and Wirtz to Mbeumo and Van Dijk? I think Chow's quite a nice hold. Wirtz to Mbeumo sounds pretty good. Bench Rice over Tavernier. Oh, that's a tricky one. I don't know if Tavernier is going to start. I think I'd play safe and go Rice. The Rice to Wilson next week. Rice has away, but this game week Wilson has home as well. Yeah, pretty much. Alderete to Konate and Enzo to Wilson Dango, or Alderete to Van Dijk and Rice to... I'd get Van Dijk, I think, and sell Rice. He's going to blank anyway. Do you maybe roll... I don't know. That sounds like quite nice moves to me. Krupi's good, but I do like those moves. Play 2 from Gay, Munoz side. Bench Munoz. Any chance Nathan Collins start? There's a chance, but I don't think he's going to if Coyote's fit. I think it'll just be Vandenberg and Ayer again. Play 2 of Wilson, Richards, Munoz, Chow and Barnes. Wilson and... I'm going to say... I think, is Jacob Murphy going to be back? But then Gordon might play through the middle, right? I'm going to say Wilson and Barnes. If you want to... I think Barnes will start. If you want to go ultra safe, it's probably Wilson and Chow. Start Rice over Elliot Anderson or sell Rice to Dango. Again, you could absolutely just roll that if you wanted to. I would start Rice over Elliot Anderson. Whether you do the move, it's completely up to you. It's justifiable, but it's also quite luxury, I would say. 5 free transfers. Did Timber to Van Dijk and Enzo to Dango. Also have Rice, Bruno, Verts, Rogers. Who do I move Verts to? Is Ekatike worth it? 3-4-3. Ekatike is pretty good. I don't think I'd use 2 free transfers for it, though. I would go for Szoboszlai or Wilson, I think. Just watch your last video. You put Enzo at the end of start bench. I have Enzo or Goodmanson to start. No, yeah, in your case, I'd probably go Enzo. Like, to play, I mean. Defense, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Chalobah. Should I do Dorgu to O'Reilly for a -4 to bench Chalobah? No, I don't think so. I wouldn't take a -4 for that. Which one of Rice, Rogers to Mberma or hold the transfer? Probably just hold. If I was going to sell one, again, probably Rice because he's blanking in 31. New member, thank you. Thoughts on 4.6 million Kobe Mainu? Probably not going to get enough attacking returns and defensive contributions to take up a spot in midfield. How do you manage to be so calm? If I was personally top 1K, I'd be on 7th heaven, but also really nervous. I mean, there's a long way to go, right? So there's no point kind of worrying about it right now. And like, I don't want to start massively overthinking decisions based on rank because I could just get a bunch of red arrows and then who cares, right? And also, if I'm completely honest, like, yeah, of course I'd love to win it, but it's so unlikely that's going to happen. I already accept I'm never going to win this stupid game that we play. And so for me, just having a good rank is probably like the second best to winning. Obvious. I know that sounds so obvious, but so I'm calm because I'm hopeful that whatever happens, my rank will be decent-ish this season. So it doesn't, like, people look at it and say, why aren't you trying to win? Well, I am trying to win. I'm trying to get the most points. That's what I've been doing all season. But, you know, it's quite difficult to win a game that's played by over 10 million people, you know? Vert's price expected to drop before or after the deadline. Well, I mean, it'll be after the deadline, obviously, but I guess you mean tonight or not. Yeah, I'd say there's a good chance he drops tonight. It's not guaranteed. The thing is, he's flagged now, right? He must be flagged already. So transfers will start to pick up over the next hour or so. And then even people that log in late. Yeah, he's orange flagged now. I'd say he probably drops tonight. But obviously it'll be after the deadline. Rice, Mane to Rayan, Ekatike, just get Van Dijk. Just get Van Dijk, I think. Sell Verts or Enzo for Sharda. I'm going to say Verts because he's injured and I don't know how long he's going to be out for. 2 free transfers. Do Rice and Enzo to Wilson and Semenyo, or Raul Jimenez and Rice to Thiago and Wilson, Rayan, Dango, or Enzo and Raul Jimenez to Thiago and Dewsbury. No, I don't like that. I would get Rice and Enzo, Rice and Raul Jimenez. I would get Thiago. Rice to Dango or Szoboszlai. And then take your pick. Well, I wouldn't go for Rayan personally. I would go Wilson or Dango. Rice to Dango or Szoboszlai. Dango, is Gordon a better punt or in Burma I'm chasing? I mean, if you want a punt, then it's got to be Gordon because in Burma is quite highly owned-ish. I think the better pick is in Burma, but I don't hate Gordon as a differential play. Thinking Verts and Mukiele to Van Dijk and Wilson. That sounds really good. Start João Pedro, Tarkowski or Chalobah. I'm going to back the Arsenal defence and say Tarkowski, even though he probably concedes. Enzo to Szoboszlai, Anderson or Sharda. Szoboszlai out of those, I think. Lewis Hall or Chow this week to go alongside Van Dijk. Chow, just for... I mean, the goal threat, to be fair, and the guaranteed minutes, although Lewis Hall will start and he'll be fine. And then Rogers or Dango alongside Semenyo. Dango. If it's 1 week only, I'd maybe go Lewis Hall over Chow and just hope for some open play threat. But I mean, Chow is pretty good from set pieces. So I think Chow and Dango is the one. Stack Anderson, Dewsbury Hall or Enzo, pick one. This week, Anderson. Konza, Rice, Richards, Dubravka, worth a bench boost? I don't think so. Bench one, Rice, Tavernier, Wilson in Burmo for Thiago. Tavernier just because of the minutes. Would you do Krupi to Thiago and Rice to Dewsbury Hall? Dewsbury Hall's a funny one. Like, I think he's an okay pick. He's got Burnley next week, I guess. But then it's Arsenal and Chelsea afterwards, which is pretty rubbish. And like, you're going to want to use him in 31, right? I don't think I would do that this week. Ideally, I would want to get someone better than Dewsbury Hall in my midfield. Timber to Hill. If not Hill, who? No, Hill's good. Or Joachim Andersen. By the way, I think Joachim Andersen's better than Hill. I know I've said Hill quite a lot, but I know Hill's better this week, but I do like the fact Anderson's got Burnley at home in 31. Start Munoz or Chalobah. Munoz, start Rice or Rodgers. Rice, Enzo and Sarr out for Will. Would I actually start Rice over Rodgers? No, I'd probably start Rodgers, I think. Enzo and Sarr out for Wilson and Anderson or Szoboszlai in. Wilson and Anderson's. I mean, I wouldn't sell. Can you not just do Enzo to Wilson? I wouldn't sell Sarr for Anderson this week. 4 free transfers: Chalobah, Enzo, Palmer, Mane to Wilson, Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, Thiago. Still losing me with triple Arsenal ahead of the blank in 31. Already using my wild card. Plan is to roll to 31 then assess. It sounds quite good in theory. I mean, you can bench some Arsenal players, right? It feels a bit greedy to use all 4 transfers selling players that have got a fixture in 31 when you've got 3 players that are definitely going to blank in 31, and presumably you've got Haaland as well. So as long as you don't get injuries, that plan looks okay. And it's definitely upgrades across the board, so I don't mind it, but it's a little bit risky. Alex, 42 months. Bench 1 of Hall, Van Heck, Enzo. Chalobah, Bowen, João Pedro to Van Dijk, Ekitike, Thiago, -4. I probably wouldn't take the -4. I would just do 2 of those moves, then the other one next week. I'd probably do Chalobah to Van Dijk and I guess Bowen before João Pedro out. Who to buy? Mbeumo, Verts, Schade, Dango for Rice. Mbeumo out of those, I think. By the way, Verts is injured. Don't show your transfers. Do it on a different page. Stop the copiers. There's only one person that's done my same moves all season. Exactly the same rank as me. The thing is, if I get into, if I start hiding my transfers, which I could do, then as soon as it goes wrong, I just look like an idiot. Like imagine if I hide my transfer and then the player does terribly, and then the person that's been copying me overtakes me. And they just look so stupid. So I don't want to start overthinking stuff like that. Hope you had a lovely breakfast. I had a banana and a protein shake today because I don't like eating early, but I had to eat early today, so it wasn't that lovely, to be honest. But thanks anyway. I really want Szoboszlai, but I can only sell Dewsbury Hall for him. Yeah, I think that's fine, even with Burnley. It doesn't feel great to sell a player before Burnley, but I think Szoboszlai's good. Play Elliot Anderson or Calvert-Lewin. Elliot Anderson. Pick one: Lewis Hall, Adoretti or Richards. Lewis Hall. Bench one of Enzo, Krupi, Jensen. Hang on. I got to be honest. Jensen's kind of thrown me a little bit. Do you know what? His underlying numbers are not that bad. Like a quick glance, I'd bench Enzo. Why not? He's got Burnley away, Jensen. So sure, bench Enzo. Bench one of Timber, Anderson or Tavernier. In that case, I'd probably punt on Tavernier and I would probably bench Anderson and just hope for the best. Enzo to Schade or Dango, and why? Honestly, Dango because Schade got benched last week. That's my only reason to go Dango over Schade. Rice to Gakpo or Estev to Hill. Got 5 free transfers. I mean, Estev to Hill is a really good move. I'd definitely do that one. Gakpo, because you got 5 free transfers, I don't mind that punt. But I know as soon as Verts is back, I'll be a bit more worried about Gakpo's minutes, even though he started a lot recently. By Dango or Anderson, Dango. Bench 1, Enzo, Stack, Alderetti. Enzo, I think. Szoboszlai versus Wilson versus Dango. Yeah, Wilson, Dango, Szoboszlai, I think. Start Nunez but they're all really good. You could order them whichever order you want. Start Nunez or Timber. I'm going to say Nunez. Just for the attacking threat. Slightly better fixture. Bench Enzo or João Pedro. Probably Enzo. Starting Jai or Anderson. In Jai. Can you eat a fruit pasta without chewing it? I mean, isn't that just swallowing it whole? In which case, how could you not? Surely everyone can do that. It's not like am I missing something? Rank 1. Mbeumo, Szoboszlai, Wilson. 10 million in the back. Mbeumo, then Wilson, then Szoboszlai. Bench 1. Wilson, Palmer, Njai, Enzo, João Pedro, Raul Jimenez. One of the... Yeah, Enzo, I think. Captain Thiago or Bruno. Bruno. 0 free transfers. Verts for Gordon, Rodgers, Palmer, -4 or start Mainu / Strand Larsen. I'd start Strand Larsen, I think. Captain Salah or Bruno? I'm going to say Salah, but I think it's a bit risky. Depends how much you want to push it. It's from the classic advert. I can't remember it, to be honest. But I think Szoboszlai definitely starts. I mean, yes, of course he starts. Andy can't make anything funny from a hypothetical question. I know, I'm just not a funny guy. You know, that's fine. With Mukiele injured, should I sell Esteve to Hill and save Mukiele for 31? Or maybe go Mukiele for Hill? I guess playing Esteve this week is not an option. I mean, ideally, you never really want to play Esteve, I don't think. I mean, Esteve's not, like... Yeah, I'd probably sell Esteve, I think. But the thing is, Mukiele might not be back for 31. But Esteve and Mukiele are both, neither of them are that good for 31 anyway, so you probably want to sell both, I guess. Did I start The Sopranos? No. No. Bench one, Van Dijk. Come on, you're not benching Van Dijk. Oh, well, maybe you are if you've got great attack. Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Senesi, Cash, I think, for those. Does Szoboszlai play right back? Sometimes, yeah. Verts, Mukiele, and Brobby. Should I just wildcard? I'd have to start Enzo. I mean, depends on the rest of your team. You could maybe wildcard, although don't ask me about wildcard suggestions. I've not thought about it a lot. I guess a lot of Brentford, a lot of Bournemouth, a lot of Liverpool. I mean, how many transfers have you got, right? Did you take a hit to sort it out? Just one hit? Chalobah to Van Dijk and Enzo to Dango. Or Chalobah to Chow and Enzo to Dango, which allows in Birmingham for Rice. Nah, I'd get Van Dijk. Yeah. Why bench Cash? I don't get it. Because, I mean, you don't have to bench Cash, but some people have got better defenders. Like, you basically should play the players that are the best. And, like, I think the other three defenders are better than Cash this week. That's all. Cash has got no DEFCONs whatsoever. And it's an away game. So there's an okay chance of a clean sheet, but not amazing. It's fine, but I don't really get... I actually don't get why everyone's so shocked about people benching Cash, to be honest. Pickford or Dubravka, but maybe I'm just an idiot. Pickford or Dubravka, 5 months. Dubravka. Rice Dango for a hit? No. I've 3 Arsenal, 2 City, 1 Palace. Thoughts on Vert's best replacement? Note, and I'm planning a -4. Vert's to Gakpo and Sarr to Wilson. Plan to lay off the blankets in the upcoming weeks. I mean, Gakpo, if you want to take a punt, yeah, but my preference would be like Szoboszlai, Dango, Wilson, like one of those, I think. Verts to Rayan and Guiu to Thiago for a -4. Ideally, no, I don't think. Just do the Verts move and then do the second move next week for free. I think Tavernier will start. My guess is no, but there is a chance. O'Reilly to Timber, Rice or Enzo to... O'Reilly to Timber. O'Reilly to... I wouldn't do O'Reilly to Timber or Timber to O'Reilly. Rice or Enzo to Wilson. Enzo, as long as you can still get through the blank, okay. 2 free transfers, Enzo to Rayan, Timber to Van Dijk, or Zubimendi to Sharda. Yeah, Timber. If you're going to do 2, Timber to Van Dijk and Zubimendi to Sharda, I think. Got in Burma and Bruno Fernandes. Wilson, Rayan, Sharda. Too many cheap midfielders. Upgrade who into who and why? Well, I don't know who you're selling. I would buy Wilson out of those midfielders, but I don't know who you're selling. Attack is Haaland, Ekitike, Thiago. Nice. I mean, you've got a pretty good team, I would say. Sarr and Munoz. I'd play Sarr this week. I mean, Sarr, I'm pretty sure will be on penalties. I want to roll. Start one of Enzo, Chalobah, Mane, Tarkovsky. I'm going to say Mane. Friday night football. Watch him wipe out the Villa clean sheet. Watch him wipe out Rodgers clean sheet point. Lovely. Alex, 38 months. Enzo and Sarr to Wilson and Szoboszlai for free. A good move. Yeah, not bad whatsoever, I would say. Chalobah to Van Dijk or Mukiele to Chow. Chalobah to Van Dijk. Yeah, I would get Van Dijk in. Play João Pedro or -4 Enzo. I'd play João Pedro. Sell 1 City asset. Haaland, Semenyo, or O'Reilly. O'Reilly. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to sell any of them. 4 free transfers. Enzo to Szoboszlai or Dango. I'm going to say Dango, but both are good. Plan is wildcard 32, not locked. Yeah, I mean, Szoboszlai and Dango keep your... They've both got good fixtures in 32, so it kind of keeps your options open. I mean, you could argue Szoboszlai is the better pick because he's more likely to double in 33. But, like, we're talking extremely minor things to be thinking about. Burnley last 6 at home, 12 goals conceded, Brentford captains. Probably not ahead of Bruno or Haaland or Salah for me, but they are probably next best. Like, Thiago would probably be my 4th. Would you sell Wirtz? Probably. Depends on the rest of my squad. Can I cover Wirtz for a week or two? If I can, maybe I'd lean towards rolling, but I think selling him's fine. There's lots of midfielders to bring in. Watkins, Palmer, and Wirtz to Haaland, Wilson, and Dango -4. Ooh. I mean, if you're going to captain Haaland, then yes. I think you can justify that -4. 130 behind him in league. Captain Haaland, Bruno, Dango, or Wilson. Haaland or Bruno, whoever you don't think the rest of them are going to captain. So if they're all going to captain Haaland, go Bruno. How is Rice second top scorer on such rubbish data? Because he plays for the best defence in the league, so a lot of clean sheet points. He's good for DEFCONs as well. And he's got a bit of attacking threat. And obviously he's probably overperformed a little bit this season. So yeah. I mean, has he overperformed? I can't just say these things. 4 goals from 6 XG. What? Has he underperformed? Oh, no, I'm looking the wrong way around. Sorry. 4 goals from 3 XG, 8 assists from 6 expected assists. So a little bit of overperformance there. Play Krupi or Mane. Krupi and play Timber or Tarkovsky. Timber, Rice, Guiu, Enzo to Van Dijk, Dango, Thiago, Rayan -4. I wouldn't take the -4. So I would probably either not do Timber or not do Rice out. If I win FPL this year, am I going to retire? No, I'm going to put I won FPL in every single YouTube title next season. Palmer or Krupi? Palmer, I think you got to play him. Mitchell out to Hill or Timber to Van Dijk? Mitchell to Hill and Timber to Van Dijk later on. Start Timber or Wilson? Wilson. Start Evan Nilsson or Maguire? Evan Nilsson. Is the plan still wildcard 32 bench boost? My plan is to basically wildcard, bench boost, and free hit after 31. In which order, I don't know yet. Did I miss your super chat? Oh, I did, yeah. I apologise. Bench 2, Saliba, Alderete, Sarr. Oh, bench 2. I'd play Sarr, I think, just about. Am I talking Brentford Dango? Yeah. Weren't you captaining Bruno and getting Sharda? I was thinking about it, yeah. I might still captain Bruno. Looks quite good. Gyökeres captain. I wouldn't have much interest in that, although his minutes have been pretty good recently. I mean, Chelsea at home. Like, is that really captain material? If you have Evan Nilsson, are you still open to doubling up on Bournemouth players? Well, I don't want to buy Rayan or Tavernier this week, so I guess no. But not because I own Evan Nilsson. Or if I did own Evan Nilsson, I mean. If you are top 50 in game week 36, would you dial back on the video so people don't copy and know your moves? No, no plans to do that. Like, I don't really want to talk about it too much because it feels like you're just tempting fate, right? But I'll never get close to top 50 this year, I don't think. Like if I was in with a genuine chance to win the game with a couple of game weeks to go, I would hide my moves 100%. Now I wouldn't lie. So if I like genuinely this week I'm probably going to do Anderson to Wilson, but it could go either way. I really don't know. So I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't sit here saying I'm definitely going to do Anderson to Wilson. I'm just waiting for the deadline, then hide my move and then do Anderson to Dango. I wouldn't do that. But if I was genuinely between two options, I would just have to say, I'm between these two options. I don't know which way I'm going to go. But you're not going to see it until after the deadline. But honestly, there's no point in even worrying about that stuff. I'm still miles off number one. And I could easily just get a red arrow this week and next week and the week after. And then all of a sudden, who cares, right? Like you've got to go so perfectly to win the game. Like make no mistakes. Basically, it's just difficult. And also, there's going to be people ahead of me that are also super engaged who I probably just won't catch. I actually don't know how far behind number 1 I am actually. Well, I guess I can easily work it out though, can't I? I can go to. So I'm on. How many points am I on? I don't know. 1,698. 1,698, and the current leader's on 1782. So 1,698. Yeah, I'm 84 points behind. I think I was around 80 something like 1 or 2 game weeks ago. Oh, and they've already got Wilson. Happy days. Although they do have Verts. Unlucky. Do 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 do. People always moan and complain that you knew all along and just doing it for views. Hiding it sometimes must be annoying for you to make it not worth it, mostly. Not sure what you mean, to be honest. But anyway, I'm not going to start hiding my moves because I'm nowhere near winning the game. And unfortunately, I won't be anywhere near winning it at the end of the season. In Burmo for Verts, if not anyone else. I like in Burmo. If it doesn't, like, the only reason to not buy in Burmo is if you need the money for other moves over the next few weeks, in which case I'd go for someone like Dango or whoever. Play Elliot Anderson or Timber. Best 5.8 or under to possibly transfer Zubmendi out. Already have Wilson. 5.8 is tricky because Dango and Wilson are both 5.9. So I would probably take a punt on Rayan, I think. Wildcard to move on Enzo, Verts, Bobby, Mukiele, and Somerville. No free transfer. I mean, that probably is close to a wildcard. Yeah. If you've got no free transfers and all those players, that probably is close to a wildcard. Bournemouth, Brentford, Liverpool, Haaland. That's probably where you're looking. Bunny, 11 months, 3 free transfers. Munoz, Palmer, Mane to Van Dijk, Dango, Ekatike. That all sounds pretty good to me. Start Anderson, Forrest or Krupi. Enzo to Mbermo, Dango from -4. Probably not, although I kind of get why you want to do it. Start Gabriel or Hill or Senesi. Gabriel, 1 free transfer. Already have Wilson, Sata, Dango, Utara. I'd probably roll that, but I don't mind the move. Start Saliba or Anderson. Saliba, would you bench Lefebvre or Munoz? Munoz, I think, just about. Was going to roll, ended up using both free transfers. Yeah, I feel kind of similar. I don't think I'm going to use both. The thing is, if I go Anderson to Dango, that leaves me the option to do Rice to Wilson later. If I do Anderson to Wilson, that leaves me the option to do Rice to Gordon in 31. Maybe I just do both. Maybe I just sell Rice this week. Don't understand why everyone's benching Palmer. I don't think many people are, to be honest. Strange man, 54 months. Start Verts ahead of the bench 1 player just in case. I mean, you can if you want, but I think he's going to be out. Joachim Anderson or Elliot Anderson. I think I've basically been going into this week with Joachim Anderson ahead of Elliot Anderson, but I'm not sure that's correct. And I'd be tempted to play the midfielder, I think. How would your forward line look in game week 31? Current plan is to just have Thiago. Best keeper to have a wild card. Oh, God, that's a tough one. Kelleher, probably. Just because the fixtures are good for quite a while and he's got an outside chance of doubling in 33. Am I captain in Bruno? Why not? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I've not actually saved it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to captain Haaland or Bruno. I'll let you know in 57 minutes. Haaland's good. If you want to captain Haaland, just captain Haaland. Rice and Dewsbury Hall or Enzo and Rayan. I mean, because of 31, probably Enzo and Rayan. People benching Chelsea midfielders because they have triple Arsenal. Yeah, but not Palmer, right? Rice to Dango, Keane to Van Dijk, or Rice to Dango, Richards to Van Dijk. Yeah, I'd probably sell Richards just because he's not got a game in 31. Dorgy to Hill -4. No, I probably wouldn't take a -4. Or Ekitike to Thiago, Richards to Van Dijk. What do you think, Harry? You'd have to go and ask Harry. Go and ask Harry. Damn, you've given £4.99p to the wrong person. Feel bad for you. Feel bad. Yeah. Oh, Ekitike. No, I wouldn't do Ekitike to Thiago. Yeah, Thiago's in the top 5 captains, but I don't think he's number 1 personally. Is Rice to Mbeumo worth a -4? No, don't think so. Start Krupi or sell Enzo to Sharda for a free transfer. Probably just start Krupi. Remember for 2 months, Adam. Start 3, Senesi, Van Dijk, Timber, Gabriel. I would bench Senesi, I think, out of those. Palmer and Mane to Rodgers and Thiago, or Saliba, Enzo to Van Dijk and Sharda for free, and I have triple Arsenal defenders, and I'm trying to pay for 31. Yeah, the Saliba one, I think. For late joiners, final verdict, Dango or Wilson? Yeah, one of those two for sure. Wilson. Might be Dango in 55 minutes. I also quite like Dango, so it might be Wilson in 55 minutes. Decided on no Haaland captain. Bruno, Ekitike, Thiago. Bruno. Anderson and Rodgers and Enzo to Dango, Wilson, and Tavernier Szoboszlai. I feel it's a bit greedy to use 3 free transfers selling 3 players that play in 31. Rodgers got a good fixture that week as well, so probably I wouldn't do all those 3, I don't think. I did talk about Sharda, yeah. Bench 2, Bowen, Gravenberch, Munoz. Bench 2, sorry. I'd probably play Bowen. Funny enough, I have almost the exact team as you, except I have Wilson instead of Mbeumo. I've got 2 free transfers, 2.5. Would you recommend going Enzo to Mbeumo with 1 free transfer, or is there a better transfer? Yeah, Enzo to Mbeumo, probably. Yeah. Because then basically you've got this team, but you've got Wilson instead of Enzo, and that seems pretty good. Although you could just roll and just bench Enzo. Bench 2 of Wilson, Rodgers, Anderson, and Truffert. I would play Wilson and Rodgers probably. Play 1 of Gay, Anderson. Gay. Rice to Dango for free. Alternative is Maguire to O'Reilly. I wouldn't do that. Selling Rice to Prep for 31, but contradictorily buying O'Reilly. With O'Reilly, I'd have 10 players. Yeah, I wouldn't buy O'Reilly to have 10 players in 31. Start 4, Sharda, Wilson, Rice, and Mbeumo, Bruno. So bench 1, Rice. In wildcard, bringing in Mbeumo or Semenyo. In Mbeumo, because Semenyo blanks in 31. 2 free transfers, plan to use 1. Which one to transfer out for Dango / Wilson? Rice, Enzo, or Sarr? Sarr, I think. Bench Dewsbury Hall or Calvert-Lewin? Dewsbury Hall. Gravenberch instead of Szoboszlai for Verts? No, I'll just get Szoboszlai. Bench 1, Matoma, Vandenberg, Senesi, Dango. Vandenberg. I've got Raya. I need to get Chalobah and Enzo out and maybe Sarr. I've got 2 free transfers. So yeah, probably like Hill, Dango, Wilson, like all the midfielders we've already spoken about loads. And just keep Sarr, I think. No need to take a hit. Is it valid to bench boost for Dubravka, Gay, Rayan, and Anderson? If that's your real bench, sure. Would you do Mukiele to Aina, Dallo, Kadioglu, Tete, and bench boost with Dubravka, Szoboszlai, Coyote? No, I don't think so. Coyote's a bit of a risk. He probably will start, but he is a bit risky. 2 free transfers, Thiago and Tavernier exact money, or Sharda this week and Wilson next. I think Tavernier is just not... I don't think Tavernier starts 28 and 29, so I don't think you can go that route. Okay, so by default, then it would have to be the other one, right? Rice to Dango / Sharda, or just roll. Already have Wilson. I'd probably roll. Again, it's fine to do it if you want to. But it's perfectly rollable. I don't know, do I just use 2 free transfers? It feels bad to use 2 transfers and still have Anderson in defense. Start Anderson or Hill? Hill. Yeah. This stream and the questions and answers are very funny. It will be even funny when Wilson, Dango, and Shard are all blank. That would be funny, to be honest. Genuinely, if they all blank, quite funny. Ekatike, not a shout for captain over Haaland or Bruno. Not for me. Like, he's definitely in the top 10, I would say, but yeah, probably not for me. Have you checked your all-time rank on Premier Fantasy Tools? I'm 32k. I have done in the past, but not recently, I don't think. Decided to sell Enzo for Sharda. Okay, would you minus 4 to also bring in Wilson for Rice? No, definitely not. Cousinho, new member, thank you. Thank you. I feel like I've been putting off wildcard for weeks and have all of my chips. Should I like to wildcard early in 30 or continue to try to hold? Well, I mean, no, I wouldn't free hit in 31 ideally. Whether you wildcard now really depends on your team. If you had the money, would you go Sharda over Dango? I don't know. I feel like I've kind of convinced myself that Sharda's not worth going for because he got benched last week, even though he definitely starts. Definitely going to start. I'd be so surprised if he doesn't, honestly. Like, it's not a guarantee, which is why I can't go there, but I'd be so surprised if he doesn't. Kelleher and Ryan in, or Donnarumma and Wilson in. I would get Kelleher and Wilson. Would probably be the one. But Kelleher and Ryan, if it has to be one of the two. Van Dijk and Rice, Timber Rogers, or Thiago Rodon. Van Dijk and Rice this week, I think. Bench Senesi or Njai this week. Oh, God. Senesi just about, but that's horrible. Ekatike and Utara or Thiago and Mbeumo Szoboszlai. Thiago and Mbeumo, I think. Am I going for Bruno captain or Haaland? One of those two, yeah. Will you collab with another YouTuber for Deadline? I mean, probably not, just because they would just be doing their own Deadline streams, right? OB2, Ekatike, Rice Dango, but bench Timber. No, I'd probably just not do the Rice move. Although, maybe you need the money. If you need the money, I think it's okay. Bench 2, Anderson, Tavernier, Krupi, Vandenberg, Sharda. 2. Tavernier and Anderson, just about. No. Oh. Vandenberg and Tavernier, I think. Would I bench boost with Leno and... No. Oh. Am I going to do any more vlogs on my other channel? I don't know. Probably, maybe, at some point. Get Van Dijk or Wilson game week 29. Wilson? Surely you have to hide your move soon, otherwise those above can copy to stop you getting to number 1. Yeah, but again, I don't think it's worth overthinking this far out. Like, I'm still miles off number 1. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that's close to number 1 right now has hundreds of people they're trying to beat. They're not going to be looking at my specific team just trying to stop me, you know? That'd be madness. Mbeumo to Rogers for free. No? I mean, Mbeumo did go off last week with what looked like an injury, but I think it was just cramp. And I don't think Carrick mentioned anything, so hopefully he's okay. 1 free transfer for my midfield. Bruno, Garner, Rice, Anderson, Enzo. What would you do? Well, it depends how much money you got, right? I'd probably sell Garner for someone. I need confidence in your answer. There's no way I can give you confidence in an answer, I'm afraid. Just 0 chance. Enzo or Elliot Anderson to Szoboszlai, Dango, Wilson? Great question. Great question. Anderson, even though he might just be better than Enzo, to Wilson, even though I might go Dango. I don't think I'm going to buy Szoboszlai, if that helps. Could you put a captain poll up? I can, yeah. How did I meet KSR? I've never met him. Why Dango or Ryan? Dango for me. That's a bit easier than Dango Wilson. The main reason I went Sharda over Dango is because of the last time you considered me scored a hat-trick. He's also, like, this week, I mean, it's probably changed now since earlier, but earlier on I checked, and Sharda had about 1,000 more transfers in than Enzo Fernandez this week. So he's massively differential. Massively differential. Thing is, if I go for Sharda and he gets benched, that'll kill me. Although I do have an okay bench. Like, Sharda has had 29,569 transfers in. For context, Somerville has also had over 29,000 transfers in. Eze's had more transfers in than Sharda this week. Dango Utara has had 160,000. Like 6 times, nearly 6 times as much as Sharda. It's so tempting to go for Sharda as a big differential. It's so tempting. Do. Do you prefer Ekatike and Rayan / Tavernier or Calvert-Lewin and Semenya Rogers on wildcard? I mean, probably Ekatike and Rayan, I guess. About. Is Palmer a premium worth keeping and Cunha versus Mbermo? Mbermo by a mile, I think. It's just I think the minutes are better. Palmer is worth keeping if you don't need the money. Starting goalkeeper Sanchez or Dubravka. Dubravka, play one of each. Munoz or Rodon. Munoz, Dewsbury Hall or Enzo. Dewsbury Hall. Sharda Mbermo into wildcard 32 would be 3 times Brentford attack. I prefer Mbermo just about. I'm 2,500 in the world and want to go for the risk for the upside of winning. Would you definitely put me off selling Haaland and Enzo for Ekatike and Salah captain for a -4? I wouldn't put you off, but -4 doesn't feel great. But sure, if you want to go different, why not? Enzo to Sharda, bench Anderson, Timber, or roll. Enzo to Sharda and bench Joachim Anderson, I think. Verts to Mbermo or Sharda Mbermo, or play Joachim Anderson. You can do either, but I'd be tempted to make the move. I use 2 free transfers. João Pedro and Sarr to Dango and Ekatike. Mistake. Seems pretty good to me. Enzo to Dango or Mbermo. Now, the latter would leave you 0.1. Only you can know whether you need more money than that for future moves. If you had Calafiori, would you risk another week or take a riding -4? I wouldn't -4 him out. I definitely wouldn't go to a riding, I don't think. Enzo or Palmer to Wilson. Enzo, how likely is Wilson on penalties without Raul Jimenez on the pitch? I think there's a pretty good chance, but obviously I can't guarantee it. Would you consider moving on from Gabriel and Rice? I mean, Rice, sure. Gabriel, probably not. If we don't expect an Arsenal clean sheet, isn't a Defcon defender a better choice than Timber? As in Anderson. Maybe, but I guess Timber's got some attacking threat, right? Have you ever found someone the same rank? Yeah, there is someone the same rank as me that's copied every move since game week 1. I mean, in some ways, I kind of respect that they thought, do you know what, this is going to be your season. I'm going to copy you rather than someone else. Maybe they always copy, I don't know. Robert, member for 33 months. Bowen, Cherky, Neto to Thiago, Wilson and Tavernier. Would need to bench one, so Tavernier. I mean, sure. Yeah. But if Tavernier starts this weekend, you're going to be worried about 29. Has FPL made it more fun watching matches or more stressful? Both, probably. Guiu to Thiago and Timber to Hill, no hit. Guiu to Thiago and Timber to Hill, no hit. Or Guiu to Thiago and Timber to Senesi and Enzo to Dango. No, I wouldn't take a hit. First one's better. If I roll, I can do my Hill Tavernier Ekatike move next week for free. Would it be get 1 game week too late? No, they're still pretty. It does feel bad to not do it this week. To be honest, but like Tavernier, I just don't think taking a hit and buying Tavernier who might not start. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Bench boost to Bravka, but then by the way, if Tavernier starts this week, you're then going to be worried about 29. Like, as in if you delay the move till next week. So I think it's just a bad position. Well, unless obviously Tavernier doesn't start this week, then you'll be happy about it. Bench boost to Bravka, Munoz, Anderson and Rice got wildcard left. If that's genuinely your bench, I'd be tempted to go for it now. Yeah, I'd be tempted. Leave your transfer to the last minute so the person copying you cannot do the move in time. Trust me, Trust me, they've done a lot of late transfers. They are. This is why, in some ways, I respect it, right? Because I often leave my moves to like the last minute, just because why would I not? Right, I'm sat here anyway. I'm not going anywhere, so I can wait for as much information as possible. They have also made a lot of late moves, like where like they've done it at like 10:59 or whatever. What's their? I've got their team ID here. It is their initials are AM and their team's called Celtic Barca. You can look at their transfer history. Their country is Scottish. Apparently, they're in 2 leagues. Where is it? Yeah, transfer history. Yeah, like 558, 629. 1057, 1059, 1059, 559. Like they made a lot of late calls. Yeah. Honestly, like I said, in some ways I find it funny because they've been literally doing it since the start. And they met even like game week 3 is when they started. So Palmer and Guiu to Mateta and Sarr, they did both moves at 10:59. Like how risky is that to wait for someone else to make the move who also makes the move late? Do. That person is watching right now, yeah, almost certainly. AM, Celtic Barca. They're in. I don't want to read the leagues in that they're in, but I mean it's quite easy to find them. Hopefully they do well because that means I've done well. Yeah, you can check your transfer history. You can see what time moves are made. I've missed a load of questions now. Start 1. Chow, Croupy, or Rice. I'm going to say Croupy if you've got him. I can never time any of Chow's returns right. Croupy is playing 90-bit numbers dropping. Good fixture though, right? Is Verts a sell or a keep on a wild card? There's no way I would have Verts on a wild card. Start Croupy on Minos. Croupy, Spencer, new member. Rice, Enzo to Shada Dango for trip to Brentford. Bad idea. No, not a bad idea. Robbie, Mukiele and Verts injured. Would you sell Verts or upgrade Chalobah to Van Dijk to play a good defender? I feel like Chalobah's obviously not a great pick, but selling him before you sell your injured players doesn't feel correct to me. Did you make a double move like Verts downgrade then Mukiele up to Van Dijk maybe? 1 free transfer, Mukiele to Hill, Anderson or Chow/Hall. Joachim Anderson, I think. Play Alderete/Roden or do King to Dewsbury Hall Wilson -4. I would just play Alderete probably. Chase and rank, Semenyo captain over Haaland or try and make up points with Chips. Try and make them up with Chips, I reckon. You could captain like Bruno if you wanted to. Start Croupy, Sarr or Tarkovsky. Croupy, Enzo to Dango, or Watkins to Thiago or Roll. Oh God, I'm gonna say Watkins to Thiago, and then do the Enzo move next week. Even though, like, oh, no, do you know what? No, I think you've got to do it the other way around. If you're going to do both moves, I think you've got to do Enzo first. Start 2, Joachim Anderson, Hill, Alderete, Rice. Rice and Hill. Timber to Van Dijk or Rice to Wilson. Timber to Van Dijk, I think, just about. Start Maguire or Timber. Haaland, Ekitike, Thiago, worth a weaker midfield. I mean, it's a pretty good front line, yes. Sabostan -4 in to start over Timber or Croupy, worth it. No. Captain Bruno or Haaland, one of those two, yeah. Like, take your pick. I don't know. Bruno's probably the differential. Haaland's probably the safer pick in terms of ownership. Leeds have been playing quite well. Could they lock Haaland down? Maybe. But Haaland could also just score a brace. Man United have played pretty bad, I would say, the last 2 games, but Palace haven't been great either. Man United are at home. Like, I don't know. I'm on Bruno. I might be on Haaland by the deadline. Drop on a Rayan Rodgers, all right. Although, I must admit, when I'm still on a captain at this point, I do tend to just stick, although I might change. I don't know. Drop on a Rayan Rodgers or O'Reilly. O'Reilly, probably. Enzo and Verts to Shada and Dango for free. Yes, quite like that. Top 5 captain options. Haaland, Salah, Bruno, Thiago, plus someone else. Oh, Ekatike maybe. Chow, Rice, Enzo, Gordon. Chow, Rice, Enzo to Wilson, Dango, Van Dijk or Roll. I don't think there's any point selling Chow. Do Enzo to Wilson or Dango and just roll the rest, I think. Bench Raya for Dubravka. No. And Gabriel for Dango. Oh. Would I really play Gabriel over Dango? I'd probably play Dango, I guess, but I hate benching Gabriel. Have you really got 3 better defenders than Gabriel? Start Dewsbury Hall or Menars Dewsbury Hall, or bench both and used a free transfer. Enzo to Wilson's pretty good, yeah. I'd be tempted to do that. Verts Enzo to Dango for -4, or play Enzo / Richards. I'd probably just play Enzo, even though it's horrible. How do you feel about in Burma out, Rodgers in? I don't get why anyone would do that. Need to hit to get Van Dijk before 31. Worth it, or get Anderson. Plan to get Van Dijk. I mean, I wouldn't take a hit, ideally, if the rest of your defence is okay up until 31. If you're going to have to do the hit anyway at some point, then sure, do it this week. But ideally, don't do that. Need to end the stream 1 minute before the deadline. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. I need to sell either Rice to Wilson Dangle or Sarr to Tavernier. I don't think you can buy Tavernier, honestly. Enzo to Imbermo. Yeah, maybe I won't hide my transfers, but I'll hide my captain. Power cut. Why would I pretend to have a power cut to end the stream that's super popular for my channel early? Like, come on, like, do people think sometimes? Honestly, do you genuinely think someone that does this for a living, where deadline streams are super popular, fakes power cuts? Come on, like, I'm not number 2 in the world. I'm 769th. Like, and the thing is, there's actually grown adults probably watching that think I've faked power cuts, because people just love a conspiracy theory. Enzo to Imbermo, play Krupi to Thiago, play Sarr. Enzo to Imbermo, I think. Play Krupi and Munoz, or 2 free transfers, Van Dijk and Wilson, and bench Krupi. Just do one of those free transfers, I think. And play Krupi. Start Hill, João Pedro, or Rayan. Hill. Oh, Rayan, definitely. Do you recommend I start Dallo and bench Gabriel? No. Start Gay or Cash. Gay. Play Hill or Timber. Timber probably just about. Bench 1, Palmer, Rice or Rodgers. Rodgers. Ekatike or Thiago. Captain Thiago. Thoughts on Canate as a pick? Pretty decent, but not as good as Van Dijk. Start 3, Hill, Lewis, Potter, Rice, Rayan, Gabriel. Rayan, Gabriel, and Hill. Sell Rice or Sarr this week? Sarr, I think. What if you and him are joint second on the final week, and he changes his transfer from you for the first time and wins? I mean, that will obviously be gutting, absolutely gutting. If someone copies you the whole season, then changes on the last week, and they win FPL, that would, like, I'd never forget that ever. Rice to Szoboszlai. It's fine, yeah. It's an absolutely perfectly reasonable move to do. But I think Rice is also fine this week. Wildcard use. Should I go for O'Reilly Semenyo for Rice Coyote? Will he start? Coyote, I just wouldn't bother risking. Had 5 free chances, used 2, have 3 Arsenal and Haaland for bench 31, or just, oh my god. Wildcard used. Should I go O'Reilly Semenyo for Rice Coyote? I don't know if Coyote would start, but I would not be bringing in City players if you've already used your wildcard. Use 2, have 3 Arsenal and Haaland. Yeah, or just do Rice / Enzo to Wilson. I would just do Rice to Wilson, I think, in your case. Is Szoboszlai worth it? And Ekatike or Thiago? Thiago for me, and Szoboszlai's a good pick. Remember the old car streams, all staged? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. One thing I love doing on YouTube is getting less views. Bench Gabriel or Rice? Rice. Will you be disappointed now if you don't beat your personal best rank now that you're ahead of it? Probably a little bit, but I would take a decent rank either way. Endo to Dango / Gakpo. Dango and Timber to Van Dijk, or just play Timber and save a transfer. Again, either way is a reasonable move. If you're not sure about future moves, then rolling is always good. If you're pretty certain what you're going to do and you can afford to do Timber to Van Dijk, I would probably do it. Are they above or below you in the overall league? They're below me, I think. Or no, I think we're joint. We're all 769, so I guess we're joint. But I think my name is ahead. I can quickly check. Yeah, my name's ahead, but I don't know. I don't know if that's just there's a reason for that, or maybe there's a tiebreak. I'm pretty sure they've done all the same moves, so not sure. What if it's Bruno Fernandes that's been cost? Oh, it's based on team ID. Oh, okay. So am I ahead because I got a lower ID? Boom! Finally, being very sad on launch day is paid off. You can't beat me because I've already beaten you to a team ID. Happy days. Enzo to Dango slash. Oh, no, I did that one. Giu and Rice plus Enzo to Thiago, Dango, and Dewsbury Hall -4. No, I don't think taking Rice out for a -4 is really worth it, personally. Start Sarr or Lewis Potter. Sarr. Start 2, Tarkovsky, Munoz, and Chalobah. I'd bench Chalobah, Dango or Szoboszlai. Dango. Thoughts on Captain Ekatike over Haaland? Chasing first place in my min league by about 28 points. In my opinion, 28 points is not enough to captain Ekatike over Haaland. Would you Enzo transfer to Wilson Dango for a hit? Probably not. Start Gyökeres or Harry Wilson. I mean, if you've got Gyökeres, you probably have to start him, I'd say. Obi inverts to Thiago and Wilson or Shada. Already got Dango. Wilson, I think, or Alderete to Van Dijk and Wirtz out for the same. I get Thiago. Who to bench? Wilson in Burma or Rodgers? Rodgers if you have to. What's the reason for Bruno over Haaland? Differential. There's not really a lot in it. I might go back to Haaland. Don't know. 3 free transfers, 1.9 in the bank, 40 months, by the way. Enzo, Anderson to Wilson Dango, or do both. If I do both, I'd be benching Joachim Anderson. Also have Rice, but don't mind keeping him. Yeah, again, like, I hate to sound like a broken record. Whichever you choose is fine. If you want to do both moves, that's absolutely fine, and be a bit more aggressive. If you want to roll, that's also fine. Like, Joachim Anderson's pretty good this week, but he's not so good that you can't bench him. You got 3 free transfers. I'd probably be more tempted to use both of them. But if you want to play it a bit more cautious, that, like, it's fine. Enzo and Giu to Anderson and Thiago -4. If you're going to take the hit at some point anyway, yes, but ideally no. Choose 2, Cash, Wilson, Rice, João Pedro, Njai and Wilson. Munoz or Timber to Van Dijk. Munoz. Enzo to Wilson or Dango. I don't know. Either. Dango. Start Gay, Lewis Potter or Rice. Rice. Start bench Senesi or Rice. Senesi just about, I think. Although I'm not sure about that one. -4, Wirtz to Burma or play one of Anderson. Munoz. I'd play Anderson. Start one of Sarr, Krupi or Anderson. Krupi. Or Sarr to Ray and Sharda for free. I'd probably just play Krupi. Again, if you want to make that move, it's fine, but I probably wouldn't. 3 free transfers, Mukiele, Timber, Enzo to Van Dijk, Hill, Sharda. No price constraint. Can do any 1 or 3. 1, 2 or 3. Do you know, I quite like that overall. Same thing I've already said a bunch of times on Timber to Van Dijk. It's okay to delay it, but it's also a pretty good move. Munoz to Van Dijk or Enzo to Dango? Probably Munoz to Van Dijk. I have Wirtz and Mukiele, so I have to play Rice and Evan Nilsson. What's wrong with Rice and Evan Nilsson? They're both pretty good picks this week, no? Would you play Hill or Munoz? Hill. I'm a bit worried about benching Munoz, by the way. I am a 9-year-old. This is my first season playing FPL. Well, where have you got €6 from at 9 years old? Fair play. Can you give me a shout out? There you go. My name is Rob. Shout out, Rob. Good luck. Hope you're doing well. You should save your €6 though. Save your €6. You can spend that on I don't know what 9-year-olds spend their money on these days. Pokemon cards. My nephew loves Pokemon cards at the moment, although he's a little bit younger. Anyway, good luck for the rest of the season, Rob. Ignore me, I'm just a douchebag. Calvert-Lewin to Ekatike and Rice. Oh, Calvert-Lewin to Ekatike, Rice to Wilson / Burma, or roll 1 free transfer. Calvert-Lewin to Ekitike, Rice to Wilson. See, Ekitike is better than Calvert-Lewin this week, but Calvert-Lewin's okay from next week. So, again, you can roll or do the Rice move, I think. Play Anderson and roll, or buy Wilson and bench him. Anderson and roll, I think. If I roll this week, I don't see much good options to move on next game week. Yeah, no, I'm the same, really. Like, if I don't make a move this week, unless there's injuries, unless there's injuries, I don't know what I'm doing next week. I probably just want to do the same. Rayan, Anderson, or Wilson on wildcard, or someone else. I'd probably go Wilson, I think, or a Brentford midfielder would be good. Rob is the copycat. Maybe. Bench 2. Gabriel, Van Dijk, Munoz, Anderson, Tarkowski. Bench 2. Munoz and Tarkowski. That's to who or roll. You could just play Munoz and roll if you wanted to. If you sell him in Burma, I guess. How did it work playing FPL back in like 2010? Was it still an app on your phone? Couldn't believe FPL's been going long in that. I mean, I don't know if there was an app. I don't use the app now. I probably didn't use it back then. I just went on the website. We had these things called websites. You access them with www. and then fantasypremierleague.com. Websites, those were the days. Those were the days. Using dial-up. Oh, I wasn't using dial-up at that point. Gabriel Hill, Gabriel. By the way, I would play Van Dijk, Hill, and Gabriel out of those. Sanchez or Dubravka. Also think Thiago's a good captain. Yeah, I think it's fine. 80-point behind, admittedly. Thiago captain punt. Don't hate it if you want to start going different. Yeah, he's probably my 4th choice this week. Have 3 free transfers. Have Wirtz and Enzo. Want to sell. I have United midfielders. Dango, Szoboszlai, Wilson. Pick 2. Rice to Dango. Strand Larson to Thiago, or Gay to O'Reilly. I wouldn't do Gay to O'Reilly. What's your gym split? I try and go 3 times a week and just do full body stuff, to be honest. Keep Sanchez or buy Kelleher or Royce. Just keep Sanchez. Enzo to Dango, Bueno to Canate, or Rice to Dango and Bueno to Van Dijk. I would get Van Dijk. Also, you sell a Blanca by doing that. Timber to Van Dijk or Rice to Szoboszlai. Timber to Van Dijk. Van Dijk, Gabriel, O'Reilly, Maguire, or Hill for defence. Elliot Anderson or Wilson in midfield. Wilson. No, I'd play Wilson. I'd bench O'Reilly and Maguire, I think. Chasing Lee, -4 for Wirtz, Enzo to 2. Sharda, Wilson, Gordon. I mean, if you're chasing by a lot, I would go Gordon and Sharda. Depends how much you're chasing, though. How would you feel if FPL included an inbuilt AI transfer recommendation in the game? Oh, that's an interesting discussion, which I don't think we have time for in the deadline stream. But I've got a few thoughts on that, and yeah, it's a really interesting one because some people would argue. No, I'm not going to get into it now. Any data on Ramadan players playing Saturday than Tuesday? I've not looked in it, to be honest. There was a tweet from FPL Salad that basically said because of the timings of the games and stuff, it shouldn't be a massive issue for Dango. And because I think it started earlier or something, and so when they get to break their fast, because of the time the games are on, it should be okay. I'm on a 15-minute break. Any chance you could do transfers at 6:14 instead of 6:28? No, I'm afraid not. Bench 2 of Hill, Chow, Rice, Anderson, Wilson. Anderson and Chow, probably. Would you bench boost Leno and... No. Like, nowhere near would I... That's not anywhere near a bench boost, surely. Leno's fine, but Enzo's Arsenal away. Lacroix might not even start and it's Man United away. He probably will, but... Enzo to Wilson, Mane to Thiago, Timber to Van Dijk. All perfectly reasonable moves, yeah? What's my favourite curry? I'm boring, as you might have guessed. I'm a chicken tikka masala type of guy with pilau rice. Do you like a cheese naan? Best defenders under 4.5, no Hill. Goodmanson from next week. Play Anderson and roll, or buy Wilson and bench Anderson? Probably play Anderson, but again, like, if you're just going to buy Wilson next week anyway, just do it this week because he's good. Evan Nielsen for Thiago or save 2 free transfers left otherwise. I'd be... it's such a tough one. I think I'd roll it. But yeah, I think I'd hold it. Start Sar. Oh god, you have reminded me that I've got to make transfers soon. That is not an ideal situation to be in. Start Sar or Kroopy. Kroopy. Van Heck for a defensive double up or Alex Scott. Van Heck, I think. Can you give a shout out to the birthday boy and your biggest fan, Magnus? Magnus, happy birthday, and help him decide who to sell, Enzo or Chalobah. Chalobah if it's for Van Dijk. Otherwise, probably Enzo for one of those nice midfielders, I think. Bench 2, Gay, Saliba, Mainu, Gibbs, White, Vanderbilt. Oh my god. Mainu and Saliba, I think. Do I want to look at your early super chat? I feel like I might have already done it. Quinner. Apologise if I haven't. Rice, Timber, Gia, and Enzo to Van Dijk. To Wilson, Van Dijk, Thiago, and Dango for free. Yeah, again, like it's all pretty nice. You don't have to do the Rice and Timber moves, I would say, but yes, you're making 4 upgrades overall, so I think it's quite good. Apologies for missing that. Own Dango, wildcard use, Verts to Sharda, João Pedro to Ekatike, keep Enzo, 2. Oh, God. Verts to Sharda, I'm never good. I just feel like I'm just going to give you a terrible answer. Verts to Sharda. I mean, getting Brentford is probably quite good if you've used your wildcard. João Pedro to Ekatike, also quite good. Keep Enzo. Keep Verts. João Pedro to Thiago, Enzo to Szoboszlai, 3. Oh my god, Verts to Szoboszlai. This is just one of those questions where I just can't process it enough to give you a good answer. Keep Verts, but we don't know how long I don't think you can keep Verts. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. So I'm going to just go for the 2 options that get rid of Verts. Verts to Sharda, Verts to Szoboszlai, João Pedro to Ekatike, keep Enzo. Okay, so basically Sharda or Szoboszlai, right? Liverpool are more likely to double in 33. So I'm going to say Szoboszlai for the guaranteed minutes because you've already used your wild card, so I'd be a bit more cautious. There you go. Watkins to Thiago. I think it's justifiable, but it's a really tricky one to know if it's like if you can still manage 31, I'd be tempted to do it. Casher, Anderson, Enzo to. Oh my god, where the hell did I get to? Less than 20 minutes. I need to decide on my transfer soon. Enzo to Wilson or Dorgu / Mukiele to Hill. I'd probably start offloading those defenders who are issues for you. Rice to, like, at least Enzo's going to play from next week. Well, from this week as well, but bad fixture. Rice to Wilson or Sanchez to Keller. I wouldn't do a goalkeeper transfer. Enzo to Wilson or just play Van Heck. Again, it's one of those moves where you could go either way. Like, how desperate are you to get rid of Enzo? If the answer's quite a lot, then yes, buy Wilson. More money from Rob's dad having an awful season. Well, I hope it gets better for you. Yeah, good luck to both of you. Verts and do you know what? There's always next season. I said that to someone the other day. Someone says to me they're in the top right. I said there's always next season. That's the beauty of FPL. Verts and Enzo to Semenyo and Szoboszlai or hold Verts. I wouldn't buy Semenyo, but I think selling Verts is okay. Foden and Amag, good differentials. Probably not, especially with Foden. Amag got subbed early last game, so probably neither. Have Rice, Gabriel, Reyes, Semenyo, and Haaland in my team that need to move before blank 31. Who should I move this week and for who? I mean, you could just keep all of them. Yeah. Ray is fine, especially if you've got Dubravka. Otherwise, you can move them for one of the many midfielders we talked about a lot, like Wilson, etc. If you want to sell Rice or Semenyo, but you just don't need to sell either. Just roll. Njai and Maguire in the team at the moment. 1 free transfer, Chalobah to Van Dijk. Yeah, I don't hate that to bench Maguire. Start 3, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Timber, Van Heck, Cash. Van Dijk, Gabriel, and Timber probably. Sell Rice for Wilson or sell Enzo for Tavernier. I wouldn't get Tavernier. Bruno, Thiago, or Haaland for captain. Bruno or Haaland for me. I'm currently on Haaland. That might be Bruno by the deadline. Play Timber or... We need to talk about captaincy, but I don't know what else to say other than just let's make a decision. Play Timber or transfer out for Hill. I would just play Timber. Thiago to play over Anderson for a hit. No. Bought O'Reilly over Van Dijk. I hope I don't regret it. I hope you do. Because I've got Van Dijk. Let's see. If he keeps scoring 1.5 goals every game, like he's done the last 2 games, you're absolutely laughing. Why is no one talking about Anthony Gordon's differential? I think it's just the early subs, but the fact he's playing number 9 non-penalties, like he is an interesting differential. If you want to take a bit of a punt. Someone asked me earlier about chasing, and I said if you're chasing a lot, why don't you rate Semenyo? I do rate Semenyo. I just blanks in game week 31. Only have Richards to cover Vert, sell Verts for a -4. No, I don't think so. Start Sarr or Gay. Probably Gay, just about. Although if Sarr is on penalties, I would never bench him. But we don't know for sure, right? Must start one from Njai versus Enzo. Who to start? Njai by quite a long way. Enzo to Wilson and Raul Jimenez to Thiago or Cash to Van Dijk. Raul Jimenez to Thiago, I think. Although Raul, yeah, probably. Chalobah and Enzo to Hill and Dango. Sounds good. Enzo to Sharda or Dango or Saboslai. Dango, but honestly, it's so freaking close. Start Hill or Cash. Feels close and can't decide. Hill for the home fixture in the Defcons. Happy Pokemon Day. What does that mean? Is there a new Pokemon game out? Semenyo, Rogers, or someone similar under 32. Until 32, sorry. I'd probably go Brentford midfielder or Saboslai, I think. Ignored your super chat, says Sir Hill. Did I? Did I? Might have missed it. Can't see it. The Hill. I cannot see you on it. Oh, sorry. Desperate West Ham in relegation battle. Why Van Dijk then? What? So the funny thing when people say that, right? Yeah, they're in desperate need of wins, but like surely they've been trying to win all season. You know? And like Liverpool are good defense. I have 4 free transfers and Bruno, Njai, Enzo, Sarr, Elliot, Anderson, Diddley. Oh my god, what? Oh, sorry. Bowen to Ekatike, Enzo to Dango, Sarr to Wilson. Do all 3 and bench Timber, or do 2 and play one of the defenders. I would. Oh, you got 4 free transfers. I would be tempted to do Bowen to Ekatike, yes. Sarr to Wilson, yes. Enzo to Dango is the luxury one, I think, but I quite like it with 4 free transfers, honestly. Start Chow or Rice. I feel like I've flip-flopped on this all deadline stream. I wouldn't sell Rice, I don't think. You got 2 good players you could start. I don't know, Rice, but I really, it's so close. Start 2, Van der Ven, Rogers, Konza, Krupi and Rogers, I think. Well, I need to decide on captain. Am I going to take the differential with Bruno Fernandes or am I going to go Haaland? Cunha to Sharda, Sheshko might start. Sheshko might start, and Ahmad could be benched. I think Cunha will start, but I think if you want to go Sharda, that's perfectly reasonable. Bench O'Reilly, Hill or Ekatike. O'Reilly for me. Start 2, Timber, Rice, João Pedro, Sarr. Timber and Rice probably. Why don't you like hits anymore? They're just not really needed, are they? I prefer just planning and being patient with players, really. And yeah, the fact you can roll transfers also probably helps a little bit. I mean, I took 1 hit last year, so I'm not completely against them. Thoughts on Sheshko? Just no guarantee starts, so not worth looking at. Would you go against Haaland if you were 350k ranked? This is the thing, right? Probably. So does that mean I should be doing it now? I actually don't think I'm going to be able to watch the Man United or the Man City game. Does that make a difference? I mean, it shouldn't make any difference, should it? Likely Villa leaks, probably not. Rice to Wilson and Evan Nielsen to Ekatike or first one. Yeah, I probably wouldn't sell Evan Nielsen to Ekatike. Want Thiago captain, but my sofa isn't big enough. See if you can get another sofa before the game starts. Transfer out Sarr or Enzo. Probably Sarr. Verts to Wilson, Mukiele to Van Dijk. One more transfer. João Pedro or Enzo out for who? Is João Pedro to Thiago? I quite like. Bought Van Dijk, sold Bowen. It's inevitable. Hopefully not. Bench 2, Timber, Tarkovsky, Dewsbury Hall, Anderson from Fulham. Dewsbury Hall and Tarkovsky, I think. I really don't get the Brentford midfield love. Sharda, Dango, and Lewis Potter competing for 2 spots. Could be any 2 of them. But is Lewis Potter really competing that much? Like when the other 2 are fit? Start 2, Gravenberch, Jean Van Heck, Creepy Jr. I bench Gravenberch. 29 months, thank you. Crazy to consider Wilson as captain. I don't think he's captain material for me. Damn, Lewis Potter has played most of his minutes in a wider position. But he did just get benched when they were both fit. A lot. He was brought off at halftime because they were getting beat. Actually, he had a back issue, I think, is why he got brought off. But that's why I quite like Wilson, to be honest. I don't know what to do now. I'm starting to think it's 10 minutes to go. I've got to make my transfers. I'm not really sure. Oh God, I don't know what to do. The fact you've made me now question Lewis Potter, like, is making me think I should just go Wilson. I do like Wilson anyway. Do like Wilson. Dango does just play quite a lot when he's fit. Oh, I don't know. Play Dubravka or Sarr. Who have Wolves got? I can't remember. Home to Villa. I'll probably play Sarr, I think. Szoboszlai versus Mbermo, long-term pick. I'd probably go Mbermo. Start 2, Van Heck, Gay, Cash. Van Heck and Gay. Start Munoz or Hill. Dango or Anderson. Dango. Start Gay or Anderson. Gay, probably. Start Ekitike or Timber over João Pedro. Ekitike. Play Adley or Lefay. Adley. Just hope he gets good minutes. Rice and Guiu to Dango and Ekitike. Have Thiago. Rice and Guiu to Dango and Ekitike. Okay. Or Rice and Enzo to Wilson and Dango. Money exact for the first option, or would have done Enzo. Rice and Enzo, I think. Start 2, Rice, Rayan, Dango. Rayan and Dango for sure. It's harder to sell it until after the blank wild. It's not wild, but it's not a move I'm particularly in love with, I would say. But if you want to go for a little bit of differentialness, why not? Start Hill, Chow, or Maguire, or drop Rice for 2. Hill, I think. I'd probably play Rice. Bruno is only tempting me because of the Palace versus Wolves. Should I not let that draw me there? I don't know what you mean about Palace versus Wolves. Oh, because Palace conceded a lot of chances that game, or Enzo to Mbermo or Roll. Enzo to Mbermo seems like a pretty good upgrade. How stupid is it to Captain O'Reilly? I probably wouldn't be. I don't like captain defenders in general, to be honest. Start for Bruggen or Petrovic. Petrovic, I think, just about. Go Sharda. Wilson is the safe pick. Sharda, honestly, that is quite tempting. I mean, I could do both. I could do Sharda and Dango. Have Enzo / Palmer. Who to sell / keep both? Enzo sell sounds quite good to me in that case. Palmer, depends if you need the money. If you don't, I'd keep him. Start João Pedro or Munoz. Munoz, just about. When a Pep starting Foden seems good again, I just wouldn't bother taking the risk, especially with the blank in 31. 2 free transfers. I've got to make decisions soon. 2 free transfers. Timber, Rice, Guiu to Van Dijk, Dango, Raul Jimenez -4. I wouldn't take a -4. No, not involved in selling 2 Arsenal players. You literally just triple captain the defender. Yeah, and I didn't like it. Bench 1 of Dango, Anderson, and Timber. Joachim Anderson, I think. Oh, come on. You made your statement regarding Sharda Hunch, and now you regret not picking him before his hat-trick. Now you're going Wilson or Dango. Yeah, or Sharda. But if I sell Anderson, I can't go Sharda without selling another player. Am I watching the game tonight? Probably not, to be honest. Timber or João Pedro? Timber. Bench one of... I did that one. Pedro to Thiago -4. No, I don't think so. You're skiving for 6. Don't skive. Work's important. Oh god, I don't know what to do. I feel like I should just get Wilson. I can always buy Dango later. I can always just buy Dango later. Timber to Van Dijk, free transfer. I think it's a perfectly reasonable move. Yeah, Rice to Dango and bench Enzo or roll to 4 free transfers. I'd be tempted to do it with 4 free transfers, honestly. How did I end up in this position starting Croupier and Dewsbury Hall? Don't know. The thing is, I can't get Sharda unless I sell Enzo instead of Anderson. I don't know if I want to sell Enzo instead of Anderson. Well, I could do that. I don't know. Oh, freaking out. I don't know what to do now. Why? The problem is, I don't think it matters how long. Like obviously, some people will say, you're 5 minutes from the deadline. This is your job. Why are you even still debating it? I honestly, if I'd spent hours more on this, I don't think I'd be any closer to knowing what to do. Can I really take a punt on Sharda after he was benched last week? I just don't think I can do that because of Collins. The fact that Collins just didn't get back in, that just worries me a little bit. Cheers, Blake. Flip a coin. Yeah. Am I muted? Asked 20 times, but still didn't get an answer. Nope, you're not muted. I can see that question. Rice to Rayan. I'm not that interested in Rayan, although to be honest, I think he probably is quite a good pick, and he probably will start again. I'm not going to buy Rayan though. I'm pretty sure on that. If in doubt, roll. I could roll. I don't hate that shout. Do 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 do. Have I gone for hard? I've gone for Haaland for now. Yeah, don't put any more super chats in, I would say. Oh, I don't know what to do. Lights flickering for the fake power cut. Yeah, that's my plan right now. How can I cut my own power? You won't get good ranking unless you take risk. Go for Will. I mean, what Wilson that everyone else is bringing in? I honestly, like, I don't want to be that guy that says, look at my rank, but I find it so funny when people say stuff like, you won't get a good ranking unless you take risks. I'm literally sat in the top 1K. What more can I do? And if you ask anyone watching, they'll probably say, I've not taken any risks all season. So, like, you know, it's kind of just a nonsense statement, really. Start Cash or Timber. You did get me out of my own head about Rice. There's no rush to move him on. I agree. I don't think I'm going to sell him this week. I really don't. I think I'm going to do, I don't know, Anderson to someone. The only good rank is first. That is true. Yeah, that is true. Oh my god, I don't know. Is Anderson just going to keep getting DEFCONs? Is Anderson just going to keep getting DEFCONs forever? 76-minute sub. Is that going to be a thing that keeps happening now? What if... you got here by rolling. You know what to do. I know, but like... the thing is, weirdly, that we have got the blank to worry about. Weirdly, though, I feel like less like rolling because I know I'm going to wildcard soon. I'm going to wildcard soonish. I feel like Dango's the best pick, especially if you can bench him in 29. I wouldn't bench him in 29. I would play him. In the words of Limp Bizkit. I've got to make... I don't know what to do. Anderson... Is Enzo just a terrible pick now? Is Enzo just an awful, awful pick? Is Enzo just an awful pick? Dango all day. Dango, Tara, Harry Wilson. I like Wilson, honestly. Do. Enzo's been terrible for 3 weeks now. He was all right, though, in 2 of those games. He was all right in 2 of those games. If I sell Enzo, I can get Sharda. Or Gordon. I've got to make a decision. Do I get Dango or Wilson? Dango or Wilson? Dango or Wilson? Dango or Wilson? I should have put a freaking... I can always buy Dango later on. Okay, I think I might have made a mistake, but... How long we got? We got 20 seconds. I've made my move. I've made it. I'm going to reveal it in 10 seconds. In 10 seconds. I think I might have made a mistake. Saka or Wilson? Oh my god. Saka if you can deal with 31, but probably Wilson. Okay, I'm going to refresh. Harry Wilson is in for Enzo, and I've kept Elliot Anderson. I don't know if that was the right call. And I've benched Joachim Anderson as well. Wilson's in. Wilson is in for Enzo. I've rolled 1 free transfer. I've rolled 1 free transfer. Oh, okay, and I've captained Fernandes. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot about captaincy. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that. Good call, but I would have got Dango. I mean, it was Dango or Wilson. I can always pick up Dango for Rice later on. That's very boring. You should have gone Dango. I mean, is that much more exciting? I mean, lots of people have got Dango as well. Hang on. Was I on... No, I was already on Bruno captain, right, when I refreshed. I was already on Bruno captain when I refreshed, right? Am I copying AM? Probably. Yeah, God. If I'd done that a bit quicker and then thought about captaincy, would I have changed it back? Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Come on, Bruno. Oh, was I on Haaland? Oh, okay, then that was a genuine mistake. Well, I'm not. Yeah, okay. I thought I'd saved that, but yeah, that was a genuine mistake then. Like, that's a really bad thing because I was so worried about doing my transfer and showing it with 10 seconds to go. I didn't even think about captain. Yeah, okay. I didn't realise I hadn't saved that. That's stupid, right? Because if I'd saved it, I'd be on Haaland captain right now. Yeah. Didn't realise that. Anyway, done now, I guess. I mean, I like Haaland and Bruno, so I don't feel too gutted either way. Was I actually on... I need to go back and look at it. Was I actually on Haaland captain when I refreshed? I must not have saved it. When did I refresh? Okay, I've got it here. Let me see. I wasn't... Oh my god, I was on Haaland captain. No. Honestly, genuinely, I mean, I'm not sitting here worried that I've captained Bruno, to be honest. But when I saw it, I was a little bit surprised. Yeah, you're right. I was on Haaland captain. I refreshed and I was on Bruno. That's because... So I genuinely... 100% like not lying. When I made the transfer on the other screen, I did not change captaincy. So I hadn't saved it when I switched to Haaland. I hadn't saved it. Had I clicked the save button, because like you see here, had I clicked the save your team button, I'd be on Haaland captain right now. Oh my god, the swing is going to be horrible, isn't it? Let's hope they both just get like 12 points or something. Yeah, I didn't. That's in. Yeah, okay. Haaland captain, refresh, Wilson in. Anyway. It is what it is. Is Wilson on the bench where Enzo was? If I hadn't saved it. Well, I saved it on the other screen. I just didn't see the captain thing. You put in Savinho, unlucky. Right, I'm off. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your weekend. There won't be a knee-jerk stream because we got a quick turnaround. What's your thinking between Wilson now and Dango later? I just quite like Wilson, to be honest. And I won't necessarily get Dango. I'm just saying that I can still buy him if I want to. But we'll see. How does wildcard 32 impact your Wilson today? If you can roll 5 free chances now, that doesn't mean much. I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry. Like, if you're saying, why do I have to be aggressive if I'm going to wildcard when I can roll? Yeah, I mean, I don't have to be, but I'm going to be wildcarding soon, so I feel like I can maybe be a bit more aggressive. But, like, is buying Wilson and benching Joachim Andersen that aggressive? Not really. We'll see. We'll see. The guy at the coffee. Generally, so the transfer, 100%. Obviously, you literally saw me do it. I said that I'd done it on the other screen. I said I was going to reveal it with 10 seconds to go. The captaincy, I just messed up. I didn't realize I hadn't saved it. But again, I don't care that I've got Bruno captain. It's fine. But yeah, transfer I definitely hid till 10 seconds to go. Yeah. The other thing with Wilson, by the way, is I trust his minutes slightly more than Dango and Sharda. When did Brentford even play? I should have checked these things. Yeah, Saturday, Tuesday turnaround. Is Wilson also Saturday, Tuesday? Sunday, Wednesday, so it's basically the same. Yeah. No, I kind of realised you hadn't gone for Savinho. Your clone might go ahead. I mean, that would be quite funny, yeah. That would be quite funny. This is why I don't want to start thinking about this stuff too much. That's why I didn't completely hide the transfer. I still showed you before the deadline. I don't want to get into doing it after the deadline. Aggressiveness doesn't relate to wildcard anymore unless you have 5 free transfers. But it does, of course it does, because like the non-aggressive play would have been to roll, right? If you weren't going to captain Bruno, who would you have chosen? Oh, Haaland. It was Haaland or Bruno the whole week. Again, had I clicked the save button, I'd be on Haaland right now because I just wouldn't have noticed it because I was busy making transfers. The thing is, not only was I busy making transfers on the other screen, I also had to put Wilson in and bench Joachim Andersen. Then when I benched Joachim Andersen, because I'd sold Enzo, Joachim Andersen was second bench, so I had to switch Andersen and Munoz on the bench. So there was a lot to play around with. That's why I didn't even think about captaincy. We'll see. Anyway, I can tell you right now, unless there's a major injury, I will 100% be rolling in game week 29. So I can tell you now, deadline stream on Tuesday, extremely boring. I will be rolling. And who will I be captaining? Bruno, not Bruno. Oh, yeah, it'll be Haaland against Nottingham Forest at home. So yeah, deadline stream for game week 29, extremely boring. I'll probably roll, almost certainly, and I'll captain Haaland. It's a good job I'm okay with Bruno captain this week because I'd be sitting there gutted right now otherwise. Don't quite agree on the wildcard versus aggressive. I don't get what you mean though. How can making a transfer not be aggressive versus rolling? That doesn't make sense, right? And like I've got a wildcard, so yes, like having transfers through wildcard is good. But I've got a wildcard. I can literally change my whole team. So the chance of needing 5 free transfers is lower, right? You have a habit of lying. Okay, yeah. I mean, why do you watch? If you think I'm lying, why do you watch? Is that not like a massive waste of your time? Genuinely, why do people watch if they think I'm lying? That just makes no sense. I would never watch someone who I thought that was... Why would I waste my life? It doesn't make any sense. Can't believe you kept Elliot Anderson when Brentford have Burnley. Yeah, maybe I should have just done both. Maybe I should have just done both. I don't know. I just didn't want to use both free transfers, I don't think. I don't know. Anyway, I'm off. Come on, Leeds. Please be good. I don't think you're lying, but I'm still wasting my life. Fair enough. Me too. Aren't we? Aren't we all at the end of the day? Instant transfer regret. Not for me. I'm quite happy with Wilson. Yes, I could have just used both free transfers and done Anderson to Brentford. Anyway, I'm off. Enjoy your weekend. I'm going to go and figure out which transfers to lie about next week. And I'll be back for team selection on Sunday night. Good luck this week. Come on, Harry Wilson. I'll see you later.